Hey, everybody, welcome to Bearded Big, our Banter, the sports podcast. Welcome, Trent.
Hello and welcome. Oh, sorry. Never mind. We're
Yeah.
the not flying solo, but rolling with the duo, right?
Yep.
All right. Well, Tyler, it's good to be with you.
It's great to be with you as well.
Tis the season for playoff football. Yes,
Oh,
right.
yeah.
The first ever 12-team bracket has been revealed, but I do feel the need, Ty, before we start on that. I know you're a Tennessee football fan, Tar Heel
Uh,
basketball fan,
you want to start?
but
You want to start with this?
I just would like to let's just talk about it real quick. We gotta if you've everybody's seen the news. The news is broke and then re-broke again today. I don't know, like everyone knew it was going to happen, but I guess they had to finalize it. The Bill Belichick is the new
I was ready.
head
I had
coach.
a graphic ready to go.
There you go. Look at that. Look at that baby blue. Oh gosh, I hate it. I hate it so much. But I think it's funny. I mean, he with the landscape of college football, I wouldn't imagine him going there. But
So,
I guess it also fits because if he runs that team like an NFL team, which college football is pretty much becoming that, right?
bingo.
I mean,
That's
even with
the key.
I mean, they hired a GM.
Okay,
Already.
so hold on. Let's hold on. So there's a lot to unpack here. Number one,
Yeah.
Belichick going to the Tar Heels. I mean, they replaced a 73-year-old coach with a 72-year-old coach.
Yeah.
I'm assuming that his son's going to leave Washington to come coach with him. All right,
Yeah.
so that's kind of my assumption. I'm assuming that he'll probably eventually take over for Bill. I think this is great. I love everything about it. Trent, you hit the nail on the head where the college football landscape is so much like the NFL now that what you have is he's able to literally, as opposed to recruit, you're going into free agency.
Yeah.
You are literally going into free agency and saying, hey, we can get you. We can get you. You're going to get paid this much. You're going to get paid this much. Dude, I freaking love it. And like you just said, the GM, you want to say his name?
Lombardi.
Michael Lombardi, of all people, Super Bowl champion Michael Lombardi, all right, who's a phenomenal GM for the Raiders, phenomenal GM for the Niners, all right, is now going to be the GM for the North Carolina Tar Heel football team with Bill Belichick as the head coach.
And
this has the perfect setup for him.
Yeah. And a over 20 million NIL like payment to part like
Yeah.
that's I guess you call I don't know what to call it right now, a department or a budget, so to speak, but I guess they're gonna be I mean, well, you got one of the probably the richest boosters in all the world now.
Right.
Granted, it's basketball with Michael Jordan, but still, that's pretty freaking awesome. I mean, I think it's great for college football. Somebody even put it out there, like, could you imagine Bill Belichick having to come on a game day and Saban talk college football about like Bill Belichick's team and system? Because like that's who he started under, So
yeah. Oh yeah. It's gonna be great, dude. And I think the cool thing is this gives a little bit of life here more to the ACC. I know everybody's Big Ten, SEC. I get that. I think this kind of breathes some life into the ACC in football. And I'm gonna go out and I'm gonna make a huge prediction that the Tar Heels are in the playoff next year.
Oh, come on now, easy.
Tar Heels in the playoff next year, December 11th. All right, I know technically we're releasing also on the 12th. All right, but you heard it here first. Bill Belichick's Tar Heels go to the playoff. I'm not saying that they're going to win the ACC. I'm not saying that. But I'm saying that they are going to go to the football playoff next year. Dude, he's going to have the pick of the litter, man. When all this is said and done, all right, people are going to be knocking on his door to come play for the Tar Heels. Chapel Hill, Bill Belichick, Michael Lombardi. Look out.
I mean, he definitely – I mean, I know UNC said they wanted to get younger, but Bill definitely knows his way with the younger generation, if you know what I'm saying. But
So
good
it's
for him.
look at that too. I mean, it's his life is football. His girlfriend's 24. His life is football. His son's there. Like it's him. You know what I mean? It's just sailing into the sunset.
The only thing that I'm getting a little, I guess the only thing I'm a little like sad about is I guess he could still potentially do it, but I'm sad to lose him on the Manning cast. I'm sad to lose him
Yeah.
on McAfee. But then again, if he's smart, Ty, like still do it. Like continue to do
For
that
sure.
because
It's only going to help recruiting.
exactly. The more people see your face and you have a bigger platform, the better off, your team could be.
Oh, for sure. Absolutely.
Yeah.
No, that's a valid point.
Yeah.
I think, like I said, I think it's great for college football, man. I think the fact that I didn't see it coming. I know it was kind of like a sprinkled rumor out there that, oh yeah, Bill Belichick to the Tar Heels, and everybody's like, yeah, probably not. But dude, and then I'm telling the thing that really today that got me was the GM hire with Lombardi. Just because of his background knowledge of, he was a great GM. I mean, 2 teams, several Super Bowls, like
None
he
with
was
the
a great
Raiders.
he was a great no, but he was a great GM, man. And I think that was so smart to bring him on there. And when people talked about him running it like an NFL team, like I said, you hit the nail on the head where it is becoming that, where it's free agency. It's not transfer portal anymore. It's free agency, if we're really being honest with ourselves.
Absolutely. And then, I mean, I know it's tough. It's tough to watch like now that it's like bowl season and all these guys, even guys that are, I mean, there's guys that are on playoff teams entering the transfer portal, and it's a weird time, but I'm excited. I thought this was a great headline, and kind of took a little bit of the headline away from the playoff there for a little bit,
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
but all right, well, go ahead.
Let's do it. Let's get that 12-team first ever 12-team playoff bracket ready to roll.
It's beautiful, dude. I'm telling you, like, I'm a sucker for those shows too, like the bowl, championship shows and everything else, dude.
Bowl Mania,
like,
it's called, yeah.
Right. I'm just like, even like when they pick the team. I mean, it's just like Selection Sunday, and March Madness stuff. Like, and I always liked it, but I'll tell you what, this was riveting. This was super riveting. I mean, I'm talking like 12 o'clock Sunday afternoon. I was on the edge of my seat waiting for that 11 seed, which we'll get into. But like, whoo, it was awesome.
Let me ask you that, would you have this same opinion of how awesome it is if Bama got in?
Whew.
It's a good question.
It's a great question. I think I still would. Like, I'm still excited because it is an expanded playoff. It's the first year for it. I don't know. I feel like it is so unique. I mean, let's just take a look at those teams. You got Boise State in there. You got Arizona State in there. You have SMU in there, who had the death penalty. Like, it's outstanding. Indiana in football. Like, you know what I mean? It's pretty crazy. I mean, it's pretty awesome to see, what we got going on here with that stuff. But real, this is a complete aside note, but shout out Will Compton. He tweeted out about the funding that these teams make, and he's like, man, I now understand why Indiana got so good so fast. They are $13 million in funding. All right, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12th in the Power 5 schools in funding. All Power 5 schools.
Wow.
Ahead of Michigan State, ahead of Tennessee, ahead of Virginia, ahead of Auburn, Arkansas, Kentucky, ahead of Oregon, ahead of Florida State. The Indiana is up there at $13 million, which interesting. I mean, they're paying their guy, they're paying their coach. I hope he stays, and I hope he does a good job, because
he got a big extension. It's like, especially making the playoff the first year there.
Yeah,
like, I know people give Cignetti a hard time about his "you don't know me, Google me." Like,
Right.
I know Ohio State ran with that. A lot of people ran with that, but
Yeah.
I don't think people are going to have to Google them after the first round of playoffs. Ooh,
No.
do you know what I mean?
Ooh.
Yeah.
I know a couple individuals that would not like that, but that's
Yeah.
just me.
Yeah, it is what it is. But you know what? It's here, and I don't know. I look at first round matchups. My initial reaction is probably typical of the majority of the nation, which is Penn State. If they're not in the the semifinals, I think it's a disappointment for them.
Yep.
It's not a knock. That's not a knock on SMU or Boise. I'm not trying to, belittle them, but in reality, those two teams by themselves, if it's a Cinderella story for them, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Penn State gets to host SMU at home. I think really, I say it's an easy pathway, but I think there's a lot of pressure on them.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I look at it this is since 2000, no coach has as bad of a record against AP top 5 teams than James Franklin. 0-12. Good news for him is neither of those teams are top 5 AP, right?
Right.
So that's the twist on it. So he's still not going to overcome that, I guess. But
Yeah.
to host a playoff game at Beaver Stadium, I believe it's going to be a whiteout, their second whiteout of the season, which they usually host one. I do find it interesting that all the analysts now are acknowledging how cold weather impacts the game because we said that last week, and I think that does favor Penn State against that spread it out offense of SMU. But other reaction, and I don't want to be critical of it so much, but Oregon, man, you run the table all season, and that's a brutal either way, either team. That's a brutal second round matchup.
It's a very interesting 8-9 matchup. I mean,
it's a great matchup. But
I was hoping Tennessee would somehow get a little bump in some way or some fashion. I mean, looking at it though, I don't hate the draw because honestly, I know like we've talked about before, I think this is a very overrated Ohio State team. So for them to come into it, I look at it this way: is
overrated or overpaid?
a little bit of both.
Yeah, they are.
But I think that if you look at this team, the strength here, all right, let's kind of look at Tennessee just as itself. Tennessee's strength, which is kind of unlikely, is their defense. Usually with Josh Heupel, everybody's like offense. I mean, early in the year, against some of lower teams, but they were putting up 50, 60, almost 70 points.
Mm-hmm.
So if Tennessee's defense really does come to play, Nico keeps the mistakes down to a minimum at quarterback. I like Tennessee. I mean, I look at that, like I said, if they can, get under the quarterback's skin with Ohio State, I think it'd be pretty interesting. And that even goes into then the next matchup where you have a very high powered offense in Oregon. Not many people can stop. But again, if Tennessee's defense shows up and shows to play, Nico keeps the mistakes down. I think that can be a better game than I think that Tennessee's going to get any credit for.
Yeah,
but that's just
Agreed.
one matchup. But
agreed.
We don't necessarily. I think. Well, you want to say picks next week? Then we'll just kind of talk matchups and stuff and look at them.
I guess we can.
Yeah.
I mean, I have some. Are we doing best bets? Because I would put some best bets.
You want to do best bets? You want to do best bets on this week?
Well, I think if we look at the spreads right now, and then we come back to it again to see how the lines change next week, because the lines will change based on forecast.
Sure.
And I mean, I don't know what other news could come out other than maybe transfer stuff, but I don't think any key or crucial players are going to be transferring.
Right.
I mean, I know like Arizona State had a wide receiver enter the transfer portal, but I don't think key players are going to be hitting the transfer portal during this time.
Right.
So, let's. I mean, I'd like to pick them. I would.
Okay,
I really would. I think
that's fine. We'll at least do the first round here, and then we'll revisit next week and kind of talk through some stuff. Now, keep in mind too, best bets. There are some bowl games. There are some bowl games this week too. So
I'm not on that train though, man. I'm not. I am. You have to. The only thing that I guess
game train.
No, like I'm not. I'm not entering a bowl pick'em this year. I mean, I'll do one for fun on like the Capital One stuff, but
yeah,
I am.
Moneyline Go
and Moneyline Go.
Yep.
I just can't. It's too hard to track who's playing, who's coaching, who's not. It's like, I mean, even with Ohio State, like their OC right now is a candidate for a coaching job. I can't remember where off the top of my head, but Hartline is a candidate to take a coaching job elsewhere. So got to be aware of that. But
all right, well, let's get into this then.
Bearded best bets.
Before we get into the playoff best bets, Trent, there is a pretty important game this weekend.
Yes.
What's your bet this weekend on Army-Navy game?
I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I'm taking, and I hate to do it because Navy, I was kind of on that not train but boat all year. But
you could say ship.
Yeah, ship. Yeah. I've got to go Army. I got to go Army.
Wow. Abandoned ship.
Yep.
Whew.
Army 6.5.
Dude, I would try out a bet. I was gonna beer bet you. I was gonna go Army 6.5 if you were gonna go Navy 6.5.
Nah, man. I think Navy kind of after that Notre Dame game, I think they just took an absolute beating there, and they haven't. And granted, they won outright last game of the season as a dog for them. Mm-hmm. But I look at Army and them even just winning their conference. They're good. They're good, man. And the thing that I have trouble with, because I know the history of the over under in this game, it typically goes under, but like over 39 just looks favorable to me, but I'm not making that my bet.
Okay.
However, I'm just going to go Army 6.5 for that.
Okay. But, all right. Let's get into the spreads here for the playoff. So, you using DraftKings spreads?
Yep. I have all 4 games kind of like, I can tell you my 2. Let me start with my best bets. My absolute best bets. Okay. In the first round, the 2 that stood out to me spread wise is I love Indiana plus 7.5 right now. They're getting a little bit more than a touchdown. I actually even bet their team total to go over 19.5 in this game. Wow. Over 19.5. It's not great juice. It's minus 150, but
I was gonna say that seems kind of low.
Yeah, so I like Indiana with the points, and I like their over in the team total. If you're worried about them covering, I do still think that you could take their team total and points for 19.5. My other best bet is I think just matchup wise. I know it's in Ohio State, but I think Ohio State suffered a really, really big emotional loss. Lucky for them, they get a whole week. They get a week off, or sorry, they've gotten 2 weeks off because they didn't play the Big Ten championship. Mm-hmm. But I like Tennessee at Ohio State getting over a touchdown with plus 7.5, because I think Ohio State's weakness is their offensive line, and one of Tennessee's biggest strengths is their defensive line. So great matchup there to potentially be a low. I think it's low scoring.
Tennessee, Ohio State.
I think it's low scoring, but I like Tennessee to cover 7.5.
Yeah.
So I would say those. So Indiana 7.5, but also Indiana's over on their team total of 19.5, and then I like Tennessee plus 7.5. Those are my best bets.
I like it. My best bets kind of echo 2 of yours, at least, Trent. I am also on Tennessee plus 7.5. I'm going to put some on their money line as well because I do think Tennessee wins that game.
Mhm.
Bias aside, I love the Indiana 7.5. Again, kind of more the touchdown thing. The other game too that I didn't like the spread was the SMU Penn State game. And when you really look at the spread with it was tough for me because I feel like Penn State played Oregon so damn hard. I feel like SMU, the crazy comeback that they almost completed against Clemson. I mean, if they didn't give up 21 points in the first quarter, that's a different ball game. Like they had to claw their way back literally the entire game.
Yeah.
But right now, I'm going to take there's the total points of over 53.5 in the Penn State SMU game.
Over 53.5.
Yeah, it's minus 112 on DraftKings. So
okay,
those are kind of my three. The Texas Clemson game, I don't know, man. I don't really have a whole lot to say about it. I feel like Clemson's going to, come out and fight hard, but I feel like Texas will kind of run it then.
I like Clemson to cover though. 11.5 I've been seeing.
Yeah, it's at 11 right now.
Yeah, I like Clemson covering that. There's something about, how do I want to put it? There's something about Texas's ability to blow it and Tennessee's ability to surprise you, especially in like playoff football. I mean,
yeah,
I know Clemson, they had their run where back-to-back, I believe.
right.
But I look at 11.5 points or 11 points, and I just think, I don't know, Clemson's got God on their side with Dabo. Yeah.
There you go.
Not that Dabo's God, but I'm saying
no, I know what you mean. I know what you mean.
Right there, but I gotta go. So these aren't a best bet, but if I'm picking where I favor right now, where I lean right now, Clemson to cover the points there, and I'm also gonna probably shock Trey, at least when he listens to this. I actually think Penn State's gonna cover.
Wow, that is gonna be a shock. Big shock.
Because I think then it will. I think the committee, what they did was right. Let SMU in, because if you don't have SMU in, you literally punish them for making their championship game.
Yeah.
When they were in the playoff ahead of time, and now it's like you got to you got to put them in. But I also think it'll be their potential opportunity to say, maybe we should have put a BAM in there, because to be quite honest with you, that line it's much different if Bama's in there.
Correct. Absolutely.
So,
all right.
I'll stop there. I have full-on predictions, but I'll stop at the first round right now.
No, I know. I feel you. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. So I have, real quick, just some other bets here. And I kind of did like a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Pick a day kind of deal in college football, just because I'm kind of going to be a little bit devastated here that college football is ending. Like, I had a lot of fun watching college football this season. I had a lot of fun betting on college football this season. I feel like, Oregon was the only undefeated team. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like there was a lot of games where it was like beating up on teams and teams losing and other teams big comeback. Like, I don't know. It was just it was a great season, in my opinion, which is totally different from the way I viewed the NFL this season, just in the sense of, you know what I mean? But so real quick, I'll just rattle these off. I'm taking on Tuesday. I'm taking South Alabama against Western Michigan. I'm taking South Alabama -8. Like the Jaguars in that one. The Western Kentucky JMU game. JMU's kind of been a tough one to bet this year. So as opposed to taking any points on that, because I love the Hilltoppers. I just love that mascot. I love everything about Western Kentucky. But I'm going to take the over 52.5 in that. That's -112. That's my Wednesday bet. I got my Thursday bet, which is Georgia Southern -6.5 against Sam Houston. It's the touchdown hook that I feel like Georgia Southern will win by a touchdown, maybe a little bit more. And then this one, my Friday one was a little bit tough. I had tough this was tough for me because, in the sense, correct me if I'm wrong, another big news coming out of West Virginia is that Rich Rod's going back. right?
Yeah.
So Rich Rod's back. I'm assuming he's not coaching in the bowl game.
I don't know that yet. That's once again like why I avoid these bowls, man. Like
So
too
I'm gonna
much up in the air.
I'm gonna do a little bit more research to see if he does. If he's coaching Jacksonville State, I take Jacksonville State +3. If he is not coaching, then I'm taking Ohio -3 because I think Ohio. I don't know. I really like Ohio's team. The way that quarterback plays for Ohio the whole year, man, he's tough.
I think I'd be if I were you. I'm not saying this is a bet that I've made yet, but I think you got to be on Ohio either way because if Rich Rod is coaching, how motivated are those guys to sit there and be like, dude, like
it's valid.
You left us. Like we're
completely
not
valid.
So
put it in the books. Ohio -3, no matter what.
There you go.
I say it's tough because I have Jacksonville State's been one of my teams that I've gambled on a lot this year. And Rich Rod's Jacksonville State Gamecocks have won me a good amount of money. And then we're looking at Friday here too. Staying away from that Indiana Notre Dame game just because that's the playoff game, but I'm going to stick with another bowl game here. I'm going with the Florida Gators -14 against Tulane. Trent Tulane. Okay. So, yeah, those are my five little bowl bets, if you will. But
I like it, man.
All right. So what do we? Oh, what is this? Ooh. Hey, it's Advent beer number 11 from Rusty Rail Brewing Company. Rusty Rail Brewing Company out of Mifflinburg, Pennsylvania. So got a nice little PA beer going on here, which is pretty cool. Shout out to Mom. This was Mom's beer for the Advent, which is kind of cool. But yeah, it's, I don't know. I do like the can. A whole bunch of cranberries, right? Never really had a whole bunch of shandies. It's not usually a type of beer that I usually go after. But actually, let's look at this little pup here.
Whew.
Wow. It's a lot better, than I anticipated. Again, not a shandy guy, but I'll tell you what, that's smooth. The cranberry is subtle in the beginning, but I think at the end you kind of finish with a lot of cranberry.
For sure.
Not too sour, which I also like, not too tart either.
No, it's a little tart, but I think what's interesting is when you usually drink, like, say, a craft beer. For me, at least, I'm always looking for like the hoppy finish.
Mm-hmm.
And I think what's weird is you don't get hoppy finish, but you totally get that cranberry tartness finish. But it's not like overpowering, like you said. But
and I'll tell you what, I know it's a Christmas beer. I guess technically, right?
Yeah, it is.
Cranberries, but like, I don't know. I feel like pretty refreshing.
Yeah, it's good.
Like I could sit there, throw a couple actual cranberries in it, and just kind of sit by the pool.
Yeah, it would definitely not be my first choice though. But I enjoyed it. Like you said, it's not my style of beer. I was worried when I smelled it because I was like, "Oh boy, this is gonna be sour." And then you drink it, and you're like, "Oh, okay." Like it's not drying me out,
No, it's super smooth. It almost has like a champagne-esque flavor to it. You know
Absolutely.
what I mean? A little champagne. There you go. That's the perfect New Year's beer right there. There you go. Mix that with a little bit of champagne.
Maybe for breakfast.
Hey, when in Rome.
Yep.
All right. Well, let us hold on a second. See what we can do here with getting rid of the screen. But yeah, so let's get into some NFL stuff here. NFL wise, what we're looking at is, can you still see me here?
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, I thought I lost you there. NFL wise, a couple big games this week. NFC has some big games in particular. Thursday night this week, again, a little bit biased, but Niners Rams, actually a pretty big game. Niners need to win this game. They really, in all honesty, they really need to win every game. But this one in particular, because the Rams did beat them earlier in the season, so therefore San Fran does have to win this game in order to at least split the series with them. I know
in reality, they need to win this game so they can get a divisional win.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the magic number's 4 is what they need to win by for sure. I think to like cover any tiebreakers.
Yeah.
So I think the magic number's 4. So San Fran, and the line is 3, of course.
Yeah, but you can get it's plus 100.
San Fran
3 right now.
Yeah.
I
don't know. I'm not 100% sure that I'm going to be betting on that game.
All right. So I actually, Ty, there's some things that jumped out to me about this week. I guess some like storylines. First thing is congrats to the only highlight from my silver and black that I mentioned last week, and that's Brock Bowers. He set the record for rookie tight end for receptions.
That's awesome.
He actually passed last year's record setter, Sam Laporta. Laporta had 86 receptions. Brock Bowers is already at 87. I'm sorry, but if he gets to 100 receptions by the end of the year and over 1,000 yards as a tight end on that team with that type of quarterback situation, dude, cash my rookie of the year ticket. Just do it now.
Yeah.
Because I guess the thing that I'm going to get sick of, and I know we talk about it over and over, is I just get sick of all these awards only going to quarterbacks. Like, I get it. Like, I get like your quarterback is the guy, makes your team going, like it makes them go. But
right.
I just don't. I hope rookie of the year doesn't become that type of award.
Yeah. I mean. Yeah, because you know who the push is. I mean, the push is for Bo Nix.
Bo Nix, but also Jaden Daniels. Those two.
He's kind of the hype around him's quieted down a little bit, but
yeah, they got a little reality set in when they played some good teams. They had a stretch of really good teams. I think out of Bo Nix and Jaden Daniels, I think Jaden Daniels gets that over Bo Nix.
Yeah.
But once again, between the two of them, it's like, yeah, Broncos have a shot at making the playoffs. They do. Commanders, I think, have a shot at making the playoffs.
I think wild card.
But if you're just basing it on like right now, like I think Brock Bowers doing what he's doing with the setting, the team organization that he's a part of right now.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty incredible. But that's one headline. The next headline that jumped out to me is, I think this is incredible, but the Panthers are favorites.
Saw that was 2?
I think it's up to 3 now, Ty.
Is it really?
It's up to 3. They are favorites for the first time since December 18th, 2022. And that has been just about, I think that's 3 seasons ago. Correct me if I'm wrong, because 24, 25. And it's against the Cowboys, America's team. But you know what though? I'm going to give some credit here, because a lot of times, and we might have even been guilty of just writing off Bryce Young, to get benched like he did.
Yeah.
And then to come back and play the way he's playing, because he's not playing bad. I'm not saying he's like sitting there showing to be the franchise or like he's going to be a stud or anything, but he's playing decent football. And to be quite honest with you, they had a chance to beat the Eagles.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that guy that placed that out of, I think he was from Kentucky, $3 million bet on Eagles money line to win $350,000. That had to be the sweatiest any person's been dealing with a sports bet in that situation. Like, that is, I'll just bet $3 million and Granted, when you look at it, it's like if you have $3 million to do that with, and just profit $350,000, it's pretty awesome. But then again, is the $350,000 that needed if you have $3 million to throw around?
Right. It's almost like, oh yeah, let me just throw this on. I mean, those are the ones that always get you. And you're like, oh, money line for this for sure.
Yep. It's that little addition at the end of a parlay, and you're like, oh,
yep, all the time.
Yeah.
Yep, all the time.
But that's the other one. And then I don't know if this might influence any of your best bets, but I thought this statistic was crazy. The Steelers have not won in Philadelphia since 1965.
Wow. It doesn't influence my best bets. I'm staying the hell away from that game.
Okay. So October 24th was the last time the Steelers beat the Eagles in Philadelphia. Wow. I'm pretty sure that's post-Steagles era. So I don't know if they're, when they did combine during the Great Depression. But that's definitely post time. So those were some headlines that jumped out to me.
I do have one headline just to kind of mention is there are 4 teams in the playoffs that have set themselves into a spot. Some of it won division, some are just in the playoffs. The Chiefs did. The Bills have from the AFC, and then the NFC, we have the Lions and the Eagles. There's also a lot of teams that are eliminated in the AFC, more so than the NFC. Browns, Jaguars, Jets, Titans, Patriots, and Raiders are all eliminated from the AFC. And there's only one team that's eliminated in the NFC, which kind of is weird when you really look at that. The Panthers technically are still in the hunt. The Giants are out.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
But it does go into it. I know Trey would argue until he's blue in the face if he was on this episode, and I'm an NFC guy. But when you really look at the records, the fact that there's that many that are already eliminated from the AFC, and you only got 3 teams that could technically jump into the hunt, and you have everybody except for one team is technically still an option for the NFC for the playoffs. That's, a little bit telling that there is a stronger suit of teams in the AFC. I think, although I do think Trey's argument is the fact that the NFC just kind of beats up on each other, which could also be true. But
not really. I mean, like I just kind of look at it right now and I'm like, okay, like the Lions are clearly the best team, if not in the NFL, the NFC.
Right.
Vikings are right there behind them, and Packers are right up there, and they're finally starting to play each other here to close out this the year. So it's like, I get that, but like when I say that about the NFC, I just look at you have an entire division that is like sub 500, and the Buccaneers are, I believe, back in first in that division, correct?
Yeah, they're 7-6.
So they're 7-6, and it's just like, to me, it's like I just look in the past that they're the conference that had a sub 500 team in their playoffs was the NFC. And that was, I believe, the Seahawks the one year. Right. So I don't know. I get the beating up of each other, but it's like the top teams in the AFC also play each other too. So it's like, Ravens have a loss to the Chiefs. Chiefs have a loss to the Bills.
Right.
Bills, although they just got, it was an interesting loss to the Rams.
Dude, can we real quick just talk about that?
Yeah.
Dude, that timeout and play call that they ran, the Bills did, like inside the goal line there, was the stupidest play. And maybe I'm a defensive guy, right? And there's sometimes I'm blinded by offensive things that you guys do. All right. Maybe I'm missing something, but you have first and goal. Okay. Was it first and goal? I think it was first and goal. You have at least 3 shots to get to the end zone, right? Yeah. Why are you running it where now you can get stopped and now you have to use the timeout and now you have to kick an onside kick that you have to tell the other team about now?
Yeah.
Like, if you'd have saved your 3 timeouts and just did, hell, roll Josh Allen out and throw a little dump pass to a tight end in the flats or something. Like,
or
what are
just
we
let
doing?
him get downhill and just dive in the end zone. I mean, dude's huge. He's like 6'6".
But why run the ball? If you run the ball now, you're using more time. There's a pile that create, like, you know what I mean? Like, throw the damn ball in that situation because of saving your timeouts. It's the only time I'd say, hey, inside the, that I would not run the ball, I'd throw the ball. Save your damn timeouts because you would have had a shot.
Yeah.
So I don't know. At first, I was super angry at that game because I had in the pick'em that we're in. Yeah, I had it down to the Bills and the Buccaneers, and for some reason, I forgot who I picked. And in my mind, and actually until today, when I actually looked at the recap, I in my mind thought that I had picked the Bills. And I talked to the guy that runs it, and Jeff's like, "No, you had the Bucks," and I was like, "Oh." Ooh. Really? So I went on like, there's no way in hell I had the Bucks. And then I was like, oh no, you know what I did? I sat in my driveway, I picked it before I went to my house after work, and I was like, that's it. So I did pick the Bucks. So I was okay.
Yeah, you're welcome for that shitty team that the Bucks played.
They tried to blow it early though.
Yeah, they were.
That's what she said.
Yeah, but yeah, I don't. Honestly, the rumor is running back said he could run it in the end zone as hard as the planes hit the trade tower. So McDermott was all fired. Yeah. McDermott was all fired up. Sorry, not to make light of that, but that that he's never going to live that down.
No, never will.
No,
and it's always going to be a running joke.
Yeah. I guess. Trying to think, is there another game? Not really.
I think there's the big one this week is Vikings. Hold on.
Demolishing the Falcons.
I'm sorry, no. Oh, you're talking about this past week? No,
yeah,
not the Vikings, but I'm talking the big game this week is Bills Lions.
Yeah, and you know what? It's like I'm totally thinking like. I love that you can get Lions money line at home, but it's like to me that screams recency bias. You look at the Bills last week; they lose to the Rams, and you're like, "Oh, there's no way the Lions are going to lose to a team that lost." But it's like, watch out, because I don't know. Do the Lions get their letdown out of the way, or does it happen to them in the playoffs? Dude, the way that the Rams were able to score, and don't get me wrong, Rams, they're not a bad team because they do have some serious weapons at receiver, but the Lions offense, and Bills sit in a too high shell and say, beat us in front of us, right? Like that's what too high shell's designed to do, correct?
Right.
Defense guy. So it's like, I just think if you sit in a too high shell against the Lions should have a freaking field day with that offensive line.
They're going to pick you apart, and they're also going to Jared Goff's going to pick you apart, and they're going to run the damn football with Sonic and Knuckles.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like Goff's pass game is best on the little dinks and dunks, West Coast style. And then I also think, I don't know, those two backs, man, you can't go wrong. Like I watched those two guys run, and Jahmyr Gibbs has a speed to him that I don't know if I've seen in quite some time. Maybe like primetime Adrian Peterson.
Yeah.
But like Jahmyr Gibbs is good. And you know a fun fact about Jahmyr Gibbs?
What's that?
Is he did not start at Alabama. He started his college career at Georgia Tech.
Really?
He was a stud at Georgia Tech.
And then transferred to Alabama.
Yeah.
Huh. So, I didn't know that.
Yeah. So I was like, when someone's like, oh, throw me those Georgia Tech Jahmyr Gibbs highlights. I'm like, what the hell are they talking about? And then I'm watching this guy run. I'm like, holy hell, that is Jahmyr Gibbs. And then it wasn't. Like, whoa, like I feel like, I don't know, maybe it's just me, but like I feel like that is something that not a whole lot of people know. But
yeah, no, I didn't know that. Question for you: who was, and because I was thinking just running back tandems, because you look at this is one of the best running back tandems that I would say the NFL's seen in a long time.
Okay,
it was and it was Lendell White and somebody else.
Chris Johnson.
Think of Chris Johnson. That's how can I forget Chris Johnson?
What
Do you
they
remember
called Smash and Dash.
Yes, I think you're right. I think it was Smash
Yeah.
and Dash.
And then
Yeah,
they got selfish. They were like, I want to be a premier back.
the
So I
guy,
forget.
right? And
Yeah,
then
so
they
it's like,
both, mostly Lendell White to nothing.
yeah, Lendo White. He was like the perfect complement, kind of like how Montgomery's the perfect complement to the Gibbs speed and like, yeah. So and I mean Montgomery's no joke, man.
Mm-mm.
He's no joke. And to think
No.
he was a bear.
Yeah, no, I know. Who you'll know this. Who was the other guy that they had though, too? The big anime guy, the running back, like 2 years ago. I forget where the hell he went. Because remember, at one point, I feel like they had three
Oh,
backs.
yeah, Jamal Williams.
Yeah, you remember that? It was
Saints.
3 of them, and it was like, "Hey, pick your poison." Is that where he's at? The Saints?
Yeah.
Oh, they don't use him at all.
Nope, they don't.
That's a shame.
Yeah.
But yeah, well, is it time?
I believe it's time.
Bearded best bets.
All right, so we got some NFL best bets to talk about here. If you don't mind, Trent, I'll run mine off first this time.
Let's do it.
Just like, remember college football, I always have like 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 sometimes.
Oh boy.
Pro football, I'm usually a little bit less. I only have 4.
I thought you were gonna say 14.
Nah. it was hard because there's no college football games. I'm like, yeah, that's a good one. I like that. Yeah. I think I like that. But then I'm like, no, let's get overzealous here. First game we're looking at here is the Ravens Giants.
Okay.
Ravens are at -16. I don't like that. I do like the total of over 42.
Okay.
Sorry, over 42 and a half. So I'm going over 42 and a half in that game.
That might be all scored by the Ravens.
It's kind of my thought. That was actually kind of my thought. Yeah.
Because you know who's starting. Yeah.
Yeah. DeVito, right?
Next,
Tommy DeVito.
Oh, I almost said Danny DeVito. I was like, wait, are you making a joke? Like
Jersey Mike's commercials.
Yeah. Weird of him smelling all those meats.
Dude, I'm not gonna lie, I could go for Jersey Mike's right now. The Chipotle cheesesteak sub.
Yeah.
You know what? Shout out Jersey Mike's.
Yeah, as I say, Jersey Mike's would be a nice sponsor to help us, so we don't have to take a small loan out, to buy us up.
It's true. Yeah. My next bet here, I got Vikings -6.5 against Chicago Bears. Sam Darnold looks legit. I love that there is so much conversation about him and what the Vikings should do on all these NFL shows with all these NFL guys talking about, man, let's give him a chance. And I agree, man. They're 10-2. The Vikings are 10-2, right? 10-2, 11-2, 11-2.
11-2. Yeah.
I think they're 11-2. But think about that. And hey, man, again, I'll be the first one to admit I was wrong. I dogged the shit out of the Vikings at the beginning of the season. I was like, dude, they won't even win more than 2 games or 3 games. Things obviously changed. It is a very interesting conversation, though. What are you going to do with J.J. McCarthy here? Because Sam Darnold is not that old. Correct me if I'm wrong. He's 25, 26.
Yeah, he's super young because he was young coming out. Coming out of USC, he was super young. And then he became kind of like a traveling man, kind of like Baker Mayfield, but Mayfield's a little older
comparing him to.
Yeah, he spent a lot of time. Baker spent a lot more time in college, I feel like, because he transferred from Texas Tech to Oklahoma. But
yeah, I think you're right. Next bet I got here is I'm going to take the Commanders -7.5. Don't really believe in anybody that could actually take the helm as the quarterback of the Saints at this point in time. Taysom Hill's out. Derek Carr's out. I am off the Spencer Rattler bandwagon.
Just waiting for that.
Unless he gets a coach. But I'm going to take Commanders -7.5. I wouldn't mind the Saints to actually upset the Commanders here because Commanders are a team that could potentially drop out of the wild card if somehow San Fran continues to win and don't get the division. They're at 8-5. So they're like the bottom of the barrel there, but it is what it is. Last one is I'm going to ride with my Super Bowl pick, the Los Angeles Chargers with Jim Harbaugh. against the Buccaneers. I'm going to take the money line. They're 2.5 spread. I don't know. NFL, when they have tight spreads like that, I always just go money line straight up because
smart.
There's somehow you're always going to find that one little field goal or one little thing that happens. But so I'm going to take the money line minus 142.
I like it.
Those are my best bets.
Well, I was very close to also being on the Commanders. I just couldn't. The 7.5 scared me, man. On the road, that's what scared me.
Oh yeah.
But I do like. I get kind of frustrated that they don't post team totals because once again, I'm very big on the Cardinals team totals and Commanders team totals. I think those are you can usually get some good low totals for good juice. So I will keep an eye on that as the week progresses and the books post them. But my first two, I'll say, are 2 money line bets. I'm riding the hot hand. I'm going Lions money line. I'm going to fall for the recency bias, fall for a little risk, but I think the Lions are a much better team. It's in Detroit. I don't know. I think Dan Campbell will outcoach McDermott. Like you've said now, McDermott he's made a couple bonehead mistakes in terms of I think game management. But and then I got Packers money line
I almost said that too.
At Seattle, minus 142. Once again, I just think Packers are a good football team, man. Like I look at Seattle and it is hard to believe. It is hard to believe how competitive they've been with a Geno Smith at quarterback to me. He's another. I mean, he's a good story, kind of on the lines of like a Sam Darnold, man. Getting another chance. Then my last pick is I'm going to ride the history of this here, and I'm going Eagles minus 5.5. Eagles have the number 1 defense in terms of total yards allowed in the NFL. You are most likely going to be seeing a Pickens-less Steelers offense again.
I saw he said
it's an outside chance. Even if he does play, Kenyanamo Bay. I don't know if you've seen the hoodies that the Eagles players are wearing. That is the Kenyon Mitchell. So instead of like Revis Island, they said it's going to be Kenyanamo Bay, like Guantanamo.
So dumb. That is so dumb.
But anyway, I think I like the Eagles minus 5.5 against Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh. This is kind of another headline I should have brought up. Pittsburgh has the toughest 10-day stretch I think I've seen out of any team in the NFL. Within 10 days, they're going to be playing the Eagles, the Ravens, and the Chiefs. So the Steelers could go from having 3.
It's 2 hard games.
Yeah, they hate on the Ravens.
Dude, they lay an egg every time they play.
You're right. I'll give you that. So I'll give you they are going to maybe win. They might have a chance to win 1 of 2, but I'm still going to be willing to beer bet you a straight up money line the Ravens would beat the Steelers in 2 weeks from now.
Sorry, I'm not gonna bet on the Steelers.
Okay, that's fine. Oh, that's true. Well, that'd be weird, Ty. You might like reverse the jinx. You bet
true. Yeah,
let's try it.
We'll see. We'll talk next week.
Where's Trey to say, Tyler? Just take points. He's trying to. Yeah, Mister.
That was a pretty low voice for Trey. He's usually a pretty higher voice.
Sorry. Yeah, dude. He's trying to give you points. Apparently. No, but oh shit!
Not even here to defend himself.
I know that's what kind of makes me laugh because if he does listen, which he will, he's gonna be like, "Wow, Trent, like you're such an a-hole." Oh, I gave him a low voice again. Sorry. Oh, Trent, you're such a meanie.
There it is.
But no, yeah, I don't know. I just think the Steelers you could very well see this is the opportunity that the Ravens need to take advantage of, which is you got to get the Steelers to 6 losses, and the Ravens could jump up and end up not being a wild card team. They could win that division.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, that's true.
I think with all the headlines and the media talk of, oh, AJ Brown is angry at Jalen Hurts and Jalen Hurts can't throw the ball. I just think they come out and I think they're going to make a statement. And Eagles are right up there with top tier team, man. They're contenders.
Can I also just say too, I hate how media just runs with drama like that.
Yeah.
Like, who cares?
They need to. They're the media. That's what they got to do, man.
I know, but who the hell cares?
Yeah.
I don't know. That whole situation was stupid. But
yeah. Well, it's kind of weird. Is like it's like the wide receiver position. The wide receiver position is always known as like the prima donna, like little babies, they whine. You've got the Eagles coming off a win, right? And playing awesome football. They're just winning. It's about the team. Win the games, right? Do your job, be selfless. We preach that to our guy. It's like just the most important thing is you win. And like don't dwell on personal stats. But and then you've got on the so you have AJ Brown with that drama. And then you have freaking Deebo Samuel. Like you get a huge freaking win. You blow out. You hold the Bears to 4.5 yards, and then you sit there and tweet some stupid crap about I'm not struggling. I just don't get the ball. And
it's since been deleted.
It's been deleted because he got community noted saying he leads the team in drops, and it's like, dude, 52 drops or something like that. And I mean, I know drops are only now since Terrell Owens an official statistic, but yeah, it's like these receivers, man. I know they're getting paid big bucks and deserving because there's some big receivers out there that are just, oh my god, they're just dominating. But Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, but man, that just disappoints me when I see that. But yeah, those are my picks. Lions money line, Packers money line, Eagles -5.5. And I'll be honest with you, this is an interesting year in the NFL because I will say I am much more on spreads and money lines than in the past. I used to be very big on props.
Prop bet, yeah, I was the same way, man.
And the NFL used to kind of hurt us a little bit. It used to, but the thing that, speaking of hurt, the thing that kept me away from prop bets is how many injuries were taking place earlier.
Dude, it's unbelievable.
So, yeah,
it's unbelievable because how many times did I have some sort of same game parlay? One guy gets hurt and the whole parlay is done after the first quarter because somebody goes out. I'm like, gosh,
yeah,
so many times. But
yeah.
All right, a little bit of college basketball, real quick.
Absolutely. And
all right,
breaking news. Ugh.
What?
Ugh.
New number one?
No, I'm not worried about that.
Oh.
Disappointing news, Tyler. Disappointing news.
What's that?
You haven't read it?
I don't know. Maybe I have. Maybe I haven't.
Well, my frustration with this is how many years have we freaking begged, right? Our whole lives for a college football playoff like we have, right?
Yeah.
And it took them forever to change it. And now, today, NCAA president Charlie Baker, no relation, because the NCAA is stupid. There is progress being made on expanding the March Madness tournament to 72 or 76 teams.
Woo.
Come on.
Woo.
Come
You don't
on.
like that? You don't like it?
Not at all, man. Don't. If it ain't broke, don't fix it, man. Like,
you kind of knew this was coming with the 4 play-in games, though,
dude. It's just, to me, it waters it down. It waters it down. Like,
how much? What did you say? 72 or 76?
There's progress being made to expand to potentially to 72, which would be 4 additional teams, or even 8 additional teams.
Okay, so then, yeah, all this is going to do is it's going to make more playing games. I think that's what you're going to see, because right now with these, that's all they're going to do, dude. Is they're just going to make more playing games.
I just don't. You know what is like? I just don't. I don't know. I don't like it. I just
what it might be though, and I'd be okay with this. All right, I'd be okay. What?
I just laugh because you were like all okay with it, and like my Twitter feed, or sorry, my X feed, is a bunch of like Duke accounts saying like, "Oh yeah, of course, this is just so that way they can sneak in an 18-15 UNC team this year." And
yeah, there it is.
They really don't want the Tar Heels in the NIT.
Dude, they're bad this year, man.
And I'll fine.
I'll talk about that in a second, but I don't hate it. I don't hate it. I think the more you can get madness of March, maybe even a little bit longer. What you maybe you might do, maybe you do some sort of tournament, like a play-in tournament. Top 4 teams, get in. Like, how about that? There you go. You got a 12-team tournament, and you somehow get to 4 out of that 12-team tournament. There's your play-in teams. Expand it.
We did talk about this, did we not?
I know we did. Last
we talked about that where it takes place in the middle of the year.
Yeah, we did talk about that too. So. But I don't hate it. I don't think it's going to water it down. I think because Trent, there's over 350 college basketball teams.
I know.
And to take 70 some of it, like what I would hope is that maybe some of these conferences, and I know this is wishful thinking because this would not be the case, but like maybe some of these Horizon League, maybe instead of 1 team getting in, you get 2. Maybe instead of, some of these smaller conferences, maybe you get like another team out of their conference. Because right now it's, if you don't win your conference tournament out of those, which is also I know, and it's also very exciting, but you're not in.
I don't see. I don't think it helps those small conferences.
No, and that's why I said it's wishful thinking.
I think it just helps. I think it helps I think all they're going to look at, the reason for doing this is kind of like the argument with the college football playoff this year, is that the really strong conferences beat up on each other so much that then they might not have a favorable record or whatnot. But once again, it's kind of like, it's like what Oregon's football coach said, Lanning. He's like, if you're a 3-loss team, complaining and making your case, like, don't lose 3 games.
Mm-hmm.
Like, take care of business, and win. Like, if you want to avoid that, just win. I know easier said than done, but like, I don't know. That's the way I looked at it, because this year, on a different note, sliding past this like tournament expansion, SEC basketball. Holy crap. They dominated the SEC ACC challenge. I apologize. My ACC
it's all money
spokesman position.
It's all money driven.
But
Dad and I talked about this and how much money they've made now from college football. Now it's just going into these SEC schools where they have the facilities. They have the facilities.
Come on.
It's because of how much money. No, that's exactly it's SEC has never been dominant in basketball. Now all of a sudden you have how many teams in the top 10? Like right now, come on. You would never dominate the ACC tournament again, or sorry, the SEC, ACC in a matchup. That would never happen. It's all facilities. It's all NIL driven.
Facilities. Come on, Ty. But you're a fan of a team that has some of the biggest NIL spending out there. Like, you literally keep your guys for 22 years in college because you pay them like $15 million a year. Like, I disagree. I think it's the transfer portal allowed those guys to get better. There's like 6 teams that start 3 freshmen or more in all of college basketball, and Duke is one of them. And now, granted, it's Cooper Flagg and Khan and those guys, but it's still like, it's weird how it was youngest freshman, one and dones, play them, get them in here, to where now it's like, nope, let's get older and older.
Is Cooper Flagg? You feel okay about him?
100%.
Okay, I was just wondering.
You're just worried about the last game?
No,
dude,
just asking a question.
He's getting double doubles that are 20 and 10 against the.
Right.
He's 0 turnovers.
Okay. Oh wow.
Zero turn. Yeah, he's turned it around. That's right, dude. You will eat your words on your doubt and hate on Cooper Flagg in the long term.
I'm not hating on. I was just asking a
You
question
are.
to a Duke fan. I asked a question to a Duke fan. So I will say this though about my team, Carolina. I do
Does
think
Hubert Davis survive this season?
I think it's time to move on. I think it's time to move on.
Whoa, seriously?
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
wasn't actually expecting that. I was just kind of poking, stirring the pot.
No, I think it's time to move on. I think what you're seeing right now is guys aren't staying. So he's not getting major recruits. What I'm saying is like guys aren't staying at Carolina. He's not take Duke, right? You're going to bring in a couple of freshmen, right? And they're starting right away. Hubert Davis doesn't do that. Brings them off the bench. Guys aren't happy. They leave. I don't know what it is, but he's not managing the team well.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that because I also don't agree with that. Like, oh, I don't start him leaving. Like, I don't agree with that. But at the same time, you got to start to look at it where top recruit in the nation went to BYU. Like, what the hell?
Well, that you want to talk about money, Ty.
Yeah, no, I know, but I'm just saying,
read that background because there's an alum of BYU that I'm pretty sure they paid him like $20 million.
Yeah,
$20 million, and he's already Nike sponsored, by the way.
But I'm just saying, like, I do think it's time to start to let's take a look at this because you can't have it's not an every other year thing. Like, okay, he made the national championship his first year. Well, that was Roy's guys. Okay, and granted, Roy's guys stayed around for like 2 or 3 more years with him.
They're still there.
I'm not disagreeing with that. I know.
RJ Davis is a Roy guy.
I know, but what I'm saying is it's just like great season, bad season, great season, bad season, great season, bad season, and can't keep doing this. Like eventually, and I'm gonna go back to Matt Doherty, back in Matt Doherty days. All right, where he got fired because he did not lead a successful North Carolina team. College basketball, whether you hate North Carolina or love North Carolina, needs a good North Carolina basketball team. They need them. They need them to be good. They can't have them out of the top 25 like they're sitting right now at 5-4. Right? You need a good North Carolina team in college basketball. It's what brings the hype. It's part of the whole thing.
Absolutely.
And I'd say the same thing for Duke. I'd say the same thing for Kansas. I'd say the same thing for, a lot of these blue blood teams. They need to be good teams. Kentucky, like they need to be good teams. It's what makes college basketball tick. So they better figure it out. They better turn it around because they're barely winning some games that they should be crushing teams. So if they don't turn this shit around soon, man, I think we need to evaluate Hubert Davis. And I think after this, not to completely switch gears, but after the Bill Belichick hire, let's see what North Carolina's all about here in terms of athletics. They might be into making some big boom moves here because that Belichick hire is a big move. So who knows? Who are they going after next? Who's going next? JJ Redick? I'm just kidding. Dude, what would you do if that? What would you do if that happened? If you left the Lakers and went to Tar Heel coach?
That ain't happening. But man, no. I don't even have to entertain that.
No,
argument.
That is
but,
one of those.
There is a interesting statistic. I think Trey sent it to us, but I actually also saved it. Since 2004, the national champion. Since 2004, the national champion has been ranked in the top 12 in the Week 6 AP poll. So that's this week. And the top 12.
I think didn't Fast Break share that?
He might have too. Yeah,
I think Steve tweeted that out too.
But Tennessee's 1 deservingly, Auburn 2, Iowa State 3, Duke 4. They really jumped Duke up. That actually surprised me a little bit. Kentucky 5, Marquette 6, Bama 7, Gonzaga 8, Florida undefeated. Those Gators.
What and why the hell aren't they letting them up higher?
9.
Like I know they haven't played a bunch of teams, but
schedule. Yep, schedule. Watch out. Might be fake. Kansas 10, Purdue 11, and then Oregon 12. So one of those teams could very well be a national champion. Right now, I would think the clear favorite is Tennessee, but as we get more into March Madness times, Rick Barnes ain't going to do it.
I will say, speaking of real quick, the Gators, me and my son are going to have a battle there next Tuesday. They play North Carolina.
Do they?
Yeah.
Heck yeah. Love that.
He's going to talk so much smack.
Yeah, but that's a game. Where's it at? It's okay. You don't have to look it up right now, but
it's in Florida.
Okay. So real quick, big games to look at this coming weekend, Saturday. Might have to read some of these off. Kentucky, Louisville. I think Louisville's on the up and up. I mean, I know they've got some injuries that they're dealing with, but they hung with Duke. Matter of fact, gave them a little bit of a scare. Xavier at Cincinnati, Tennessee at Illinois. This is the big one, I think. Gonzaga versus UConn.
Oh, yeah.
UCLA, Arizona. Memphis, who just got beat by Arkansas State? What the hell is that about? Versus Clemson. I got Oklahoma versus Oklahoma State. You got Arizona State versus Florida, which I don't know why that's a big game. But then Creighton versus Alabama.
As I say, Creighton, Alabama, that's going to be a good game. I'm looking forward to that game.
Creighton knocking off Kansas had me. I said no chance. I didn't see
Kansas losing 2 in a row, dropping all the way down to 10.
Yeah.
It's a straight free falling.
Yeah.
And then Auburn not dropping at all after losing one. Like, what the hell's the deal with that?
Yeah, it was a close game.
Yeah.
And they lost to Duke, which for some reason it's like, they don't want to put Duke too far up because of how young they are.
Yeah.
But it's just like, it's funny because then they're still I think one of the top 2 or top 3 betting favorites to win it all. But
yeah,
I'm biased, but I mean, I like what Shire's done. I think Shire, for a young head coach and what he's had to follow in terms of Coach K. I know it's early in his career, but dude, he's pretty good at assembling. Now, I will say their assistant coach that came from Kentucky, his name slipped my mind right now. He has a lot to do with it. And if they can hold on to him for a while, that's going to be great for them. But in terms of recruiting and everything, because they already got the number 2 player in next year's class coming in with the Boozer brothers. So
nice.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think that wraps it up here.
Yeah, man. So it's got your Niners tomorrow night to start off Thursday, the football week.
Tonight.
Sorry, tonight. I always say you said December 11th earlier, so you screwed up too. But yeah, looking forward to a weekend of I guess NFL and college basketball primarily, with a little bit of Army Navy.
Yep.
Army Navy. So Army 6.5.
Yep. Let's go. All right. Enjoy your weekend. Enjoy a couple steps closer to Christmas.
Yes.
So, all right. Hey, have a good one. See you, Trent.
See you, bud.